Welcome back, everybody. The novel Reef Road is wowing readers all across America. The book is written by acclaimed queen of plot twists and former actress Deborah Goodrich Royce. I talked to Deborah about her new book. Deborah, thanks so much for joining us. We certainly do appreciate it. Congratulations on Reef Road. It looks like my cup of tea. I'm going to read this book.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be with you.
Now, before we talk kind of about the characters, and I'm going right to the jacket of the book here, the year is 2020. The setting is Palm Beach, Florida. Residents are under quarantine because of unseasonal heat and a virus. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, if you remember, and who can forget, spring of 2020, for me, I really think about March the 13th, 2020. It was my granddaughter's birthday. I was in Florida, and it was that crazy moment where you didn't know which way the world was going. Remember, we weren't quite sure if this was lasting for a while. From that point, we were grounded wherever we were. I was in Palm Beach, and I decided to use that time to research the real murder of my own mother's best friend, which happened in 1948 Pittsburgh, and has remained an unsolved crime to this day. And from that big research dive, it became this novel. It became a work of fiction.
And tell us a little bit about the characters. There are essentially, well, there's a family. I think there's a husband and some children. But they're basically kind of three situations that kind of interconnect along the way.
Exactly. Well, really, it's a dual narrative. So Palm Beach, Florida, March through the spring 2020, you start to look at the lives of two different women. One is a very lonely, reclusive writer who's obsessively researching the murder of her mother's best friend and other murders and arcane murder statistics. And you alternate that with a much more plot-driven thriller, the story of a younger woman, Linda Alonso. I love saying her name. And she's married to a very handsome fellow from Argentina named Miguel Alonso. And about 3 weeks into the lockdown, Miguel and the two little children disappear. And security camera footage reveals them getting on a plane bound for Buenos Aires in their face masks. And really that moment when the door goes down. So you've got Linda. She cannot follow and figure out what is going on with her husband and children. And you've got the writer, and bit by bit you start to what one woman's life has to do with.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating. I think there's also an interesting police officer involved in the storyline as well. There happens to be a human hand that just washes up on the beach. And so it really sounds, as I said, I love books that are kind of mystery thrillers. I want to talk to you a little bit on a personal note. A one-time actress, including a stint on All My Children, also in films, still involved in the film industry. What about this transition to novelist?
Well, in a weird way, it's kind of a natural transition from one kind of storytelling to the other. And I one time said to my wonderful husband, I said, I think I'm really a much better writer than I ever was an actress. He said, oh, absolutely. But what I really mean is writing stories, I get to tell more of the story that I want to tell. Acting in other people's stories is another kind of interpretation. But I had some steps to my transition. I really went through the editorial seat before I became a writer on my own. And I spent some years at Miramax Films at really the day of all the movies they were making.
Well, as I said, I'm going to probably start this book tonight because I'm in between books. And it looks like it's really a great read. Reef Road, Deborah Goodrich Royce. Thanks so much for being with us, Deborah.
Oh, the pleasure has been mine. Thank you.